श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम। ओम त्रयं नमस्कृत्य तदुक्तिः परिभाव्य च वैयाकरणसिद्धान्त कौमुदीयं विरच्यते। अ इ उन् ऋल् ऋक् ए ओङ् ऐ औच् हयवरट् ळन् ञमङणनं झफै घढधश् जबगडधश् खफचटथ चटतौ कपै श सर् हल् इति माहेश्वराणि सूत्राणि. So we saw yesterday Tatah kim ityatah. He was saying, so what? So what? Where? With respect to what? He said, Tadevam lan sutre akarasya anunasikatvad itsanya siddha. So because of this rule in the lan, the which is nasalized, that becomes a it because of this sutra. Okay. Now he says, vastu tastu tata kim. So what? Okay, you have gained this lakara, you have given it a sanya, it sanya, and so what? You have given it sanya. So what? For that he says, lan sutra in the moola. Lan pratyahara sutra. Okay. Sutrastha avarnena saha uccharyamano refo ralayoho sanya. In the Ran sutra, okay, in the Lan sutra, the avarna, along with the avarna, saha uccharyamanaha, along with that avarna, if you are going to pronounce the refa means rakara. We don't say it as rakara, we only say it as refa. Refa has the special quality of being said as refa, not varnatkara. So through the varnatkara rule, you don't add kara to refa, rakara. Okay, you don't say rakara, you say refa. Okay, so refaha ralayoho sanya. So along with the of lan, ra, if you say, it becomes a sutra for hayava rat lan. So ra la. Okay, for this these two characters you have the sanya ra. Very good. Vastu tastu. But okay, lan sutres in the tika lan sutre tishtati iti lan sutrastah. Lan sutrastah, when you say lan sutrastah, what does it mean? Lan sutre tishtati iti lan sutrastah. Stha gati nivartau is the dhatu, root word. Stha gati nivartau. Stha is used to say the staying, not moving. Okay, so to say you are sitting, sitting is not moving. Okay, to say you are not moving, you are sitting in a place, you use this pratyaya, you use this stha. Okay, now he says, based on this stha, based on this lan sutre, lan sutrastha, we got lan sutrastha. Okay, then sacha avarnascha lan sutrastha avarnaha. That lan sutrastha plus avarna, lan sutrastha varnaha, one word. How you make the compound word, he is teaching you. Okay, lan sutrastha, lan sutre tishtati iti lan sutrastha, lan sutra plus lan sutrastha plus avarna, lan sutrastha varna. Okay, now tena sa uccharyamanaha refaha. Along with that the refa which is pronounced, that is a ra iti evam Rupaha, Ra. That is the form. It is not Ra, it is Ra. Ra iti evam Rupaha. Refa lakarayoho sanya ityartha. The idea is this gets, Ra gets the sanya for, Ra is the sanya for Refa and Lakara. Refa lakarayoho. Very good. Vastu sastu. In reality, see, all this is explained according to the Siddhanta Kaumudi. But in reality, vastastu. Ra pratyahara eva nasti iti. There is no ra pratyahara. The ra we say, there is no pratyahara called ra. Iti Shabdendra Shekhare Vyaktam. In Shabdendra Shekhara, in that text, it is made very clear that there is no pratyahara called ra. There is no need for ra as a pratyahara. Okay? So, now. Adirantena iti sutre madhyaganam adesha sanya iti sitam. So in adirantena sayeta, what did we say? Madhyaganam adesha sanya. For the in between and for the beginning, it is the name. Whatever given, that is the name. Okay. Now, evam cha. In this situation, ajadi pratyahareshu, for the ach etc. pratyahara, sanya koti pravishtanam antyanam itam. See, when I say ach, a, e, un, that nakara, ril, rik, that kakara. So those it also is in between ach, a till ich. Okay. So grahana abhavi, though they are not accepted. We don't include, when I say ach, I don't include the chakara, kakara, etc., the final characters. Abhavi api, nakaradinamapi madhyagatva visheshat grahanam syat. See, itam grahana abhavepi, though the it does not get accepted, still nakaradinamapi madhyagatva visheshat. See, sanya koti pravishtanam antyanam. In the sanya, ach, when I say ach, the final character is chakara. I don't include that chakara. Okay, fine, I don't have any problem. You don't include that chakara. But in between the characters, nakara, kakara, etc., that should be included also. In the pratyahara, whatever pratyahara you make, you have to include these also. Iti madhyaganam api avisheshat grahanam syat. Because when you say madhyagana, in between, e is also in between, and u also in between. Similarly, the nakara also is in between ach. So those final characters that are in between also should be accepted. Garanam tadascha. Ralayoho sanya iti purva granthe. That makes the ralayoho sanya. The sanya, the name for ra and la. Iti purva granthe. In this way, iti ralayoho sanya iti purva granthe ralayoriva nyunam. But wait. Tadascha. Therefore, what happens is Ralayoho sanya iti purva granthe. In the earlier place, we said ra iti ralayoho sanya. Why do you stop it with ra? Ralayoho, only ralayoho. That is nyunam. You have just said very small. You have shortened it. Nyunam. You have just said something very less, far more less. Then what needs to be said? What needs to be said? Takarasyapi madhyagatvena grahyatvad. When I say ra, when I say, what did you say? Ralayoho sanya. But rala, it is not just ralayoho sanya. Haya varat ran. So when I say ra, it is ra, ta, la. Refa, takara, lakara. For all these three. Don't get confused. Remember, you already know how to make a pratyahara. So with that in mind, you are approaching this text. Just forget about that. You are in a confused state of how to make a pratyahara. Will this come in a pratyahara or not in pratyahara? So those ideas, those doubts are removed here. Okay. So with that open mind, you have to approach here. So whatever is taught here should be learned from here. When I say pratyahara ach, since I have already pronounced ach means vowels. Diphthongs also we included as vowels. In the Adi Lagu itself, I said I am not going to say vowels and diphthongs. I am going to say only vowel. Okay. So when I say acha, it is vowel. When I say hal, it is consonants. Because in Sanskrit we say swara and vyanjana. Just two. There is no diphthongs. Swara, vyanjana. Two classification. Similarly, we will classify it as a vowel and consonant. So, in this, when I say ach, we already know that it is vowel. And I say hal, you already know it is referring to the consonants. But that is because of the explanation I gave. Without that explanation, if you approach, then there will be this doubt. Should I include this takara? Why didn't he include this takara in between? Ra, takara, refa, takara, lakara, ra. So what happened to this takara? Why did he not include this takara? These kind of doubts may rise. So for that he says, madhyagatmana grahyatvad ityata aha. For that, mula. Pratyahareshu itamna grahanam. That is a rule. Pratyahar, this is a paribhasha. Pratyahareshu, it is pratyahareshu. Pratya. In the Motilal Banarasi Das, it is Pratyahareshu. It is not Pratyahareshu. Pratyahareshu itamna grahanam. In the Tika, it is printed very properly. Pratyahareshu itamna grahanamiti. Pratyahareshu. In the Pratyaharas, Pratyahareshu. In the Pratyaharas, itam. The it na grahanam should not be included. In the pratyaharas, the it should not be included. You got it? Okay. Why am I looking confused? We'll see. Anunasikaha ityadi nirdeshat. How do you know this? How do you know this? That we should not include the pratyaharas in the it in the pratyaharas. Because it is said very clearly in the sutra itself, Upadeshejanunasikait. What does that mean? We'll come to the tika first. Pratyahareshu ajadi sanyasu madhyavartinam api itam nagrahan vityartha. In the pratyaharas, the in between, when I say ach, etc., the pratyaharas ach, etc., in the pratyaharas ach, etc., the in between, it should not be included. Kuta ityatah? How do you say so? For that, anunasika ityadi nirdeshat, as it is very clearly said, nirdesha, it is pointed out, it is said as anunasika, etc. Etc. He says, adina with etc. You have to also include Trishi, Mrishi, Krishehe, Kashyapasya, etc. All these sutras. Trishi, Mrishi, Krishehe, Kashyapasya, ityadi sangraha. I don't understand what he said in the Mula. If I come to the Tika, again I have confusion. What does he mean? Anunasika itself is the reference for understanding that there is no point of including the it characters that are in between the pratyaharas. I don't understand. For that, as an explanation, he said in the ach there it should not be used. Why? Because it is said Arjanunasikati. And to explain that more, he is giving Trishi Mrishi Krishehe Kashyapasya Sutra. What is that? So everything is very clearly explained. This is a spoon feeding technique he is using. Very clearly, everything is explained. Nothing is left unexplained. Okay, so we'll see in the Tika itself. Kathamayam nirdesha uktarthe heturityata. How can this be? We said Anunasika. This be, how can this be a reason for the mentioned rule? What is the rule mentioned? Pratyahareshu itamna granam. How can this be a proof? Wait. Nahi iti. Nahi in the Mula. Nahi atra kakare pare achkaryam drishyate. Nahi atra kakare pare. ach karyam drishyate. In the kakara, the ach karya, the pare kakare ach karyam na drishyate. The kakare pare, when the kakara is there, the ach karya, when the ach follows, whatever should happen, that does not happen. What should happen will come to the tika. Atra anunasika shabde kakare pare ikarasya ach prayuktam karyam. So ka is there. Anunasika. Okay, anunasika. Isu plus e plus k plus a. Visualize. Anunasika, final four characters, sakara plus ikara, kakara plus akara. Okay, remove the sakara. I'm not interested in the sakara. I'm not interested in the final akara also. Ikara plus kakara. Okay, are you able to see? Ikara plus kakara. Now, ikara plus kakara, what is the sutra which will come apply here? I have not seen any sutra where ikara and kakara will create a sandhi, because ikara is ach according to our knowledge and kakara is hal. Ik and ach and hal don't make a sandhi. They can be combined when the ach is pare. Ajinam parena sanyojyam. But e cannot be in sandhi with kakara. That is my knowledge. But you don't understand. You have to apply eco energy. That is where he comes here. What does he say? Atra anunasika shabde kakare pare ikarasya ach prayuktam karyam. What is the ach prayukta karyam? Eco energy iti. Do you understand? E is there. E is there. Following E is kakara. Where is kakara? Hi, Everett. Don't go there. Don't go there. Ach prayukta karyam. A, I, un, ril, rik. In between ach, you have kakara. In between ach, you have kakara. So, therefore, when I say achi pare, what is equivalence? What does equivalence say? Ikaha yen syat. Achi pare. For the ika, yen will be the replacement when followed by ach. Okay? Ik is there. E is there. E should get yakara when followed by ach. Ach means a, I, u, r, a, I, un, r, ik, kakara, a, ong, I, au. I will not include the final chakara. In between nakara, kakara, etc. I will include, because there is no rule which said you should not include. So, if I say ach, the kakara will also be included. Don't become confused because of what we are discussing. Why we should not include the kakara, etc. is what we are learning here. Okay? The kakara is there in the ach now. Iko in achi, ach is following e. Kakara is an ach. Therefore, e should be replaced with yakara. Okay? Then what happens? Anunasika. Anunasika, instead of anunasika, s plus yakara plus kakaka. Anunasika. Okay? Like that is the situation. At that point, he says, tarhi drishyate hiti na drishyate iti yanadesho na drishyate iti yojana. And there is no yanadesha. You don't see. Okay? It is anunasika. It's not anunasika. Okay? Yakara and ka. No. Yadi hi ajadi pratyahareshu idamabhi grahanam syat. If in the ajadi pratyaya you also include each etc., then what happens? Tarhi ach pratyahare rul iti lakarasyapi pravishtatvena. When I say ach, he also include automatically the kakara. Okay? Therefore, yanadikaryam syat pravishtatvena achtua tasmin pare ikarasya iko anachiti yanadesha. So, when I say ach, since the kakara is also there in the ach, yanadesha should take place. When Yanadesha takes place, as I said, E is replaced with Yakara. So, Sakara, Yakara, Kakara. At that point, you have Lopo Vyor Vali. Lopo Vyor Vali. Lopaha. Lopa takes place. When? For what? Sashti is Lopaha is Prasama. Vyoho Sashti Dvivachana. Vali Saptami Ekavachana. So, when Val follows, Haya Varat, Vato, Hal. Okay, all the Ha, Ya, Ba, Ha, Ya, remove, except Ya, all the other characters. Ha is also included because there is a final Ha there. Except Ha, every other character is represented with a Val. Okay, so then Val follows. Yakara, Vakara should get Lopa. We have Kakara following. Before that, there is Yakara. That Yakara will get Lopa. Therefore, iti lope anunaska iti syat. Instead of anunasika word, you will have anunaska iti syat. Ikaro na shruyete cha. Ikaro should not be heard there. You should not pronounce Ikara. But you do pronounce Ikara and it is pronounced there. It is seen there. Therefore, ataha pratyahareshu yuta na grahanamiti vijñayate iti bhavah. Therefore, we understand vijñayate, we visheshena jñayate. We understand very clearly that we should not include the it in the pratyahara, the final consonants in the pratyahara. Okay, this is how we learnt it from the commentary. Okay, now yettu rilrikiti kakarasya ach pratyahara parushtatvepi प्रत्यस्थ इत्यादिना इत्व विधि सामर्थ्यात् एव यन् लोपश्च न भवति अन्यथा लाघवात् लोपमेव सिद्ध्यात् अतः प्रत्यहारेषु युतां नगरम् इत्यत्र अनुनासिक इत्यादि निर्देशो न लिंगम् इत्याहुः. So for those people, those people who say that you cannot bring in this anunasika as a pointer to say that pratyahareshu itam nagaranam, in the pratyahara you should not include the it. That is not right. Why? Because yettu rilrik iti kakarasya. The kakara in rilrik ach pratyahara pravishtatvepi, though it is included in the ach pratyahara, pratyasthat ityadina, with the rule pratyasthat. That sutra is given below. Pratyasthat kat purvasya ataha lopaha apyasupaha iti. So based on this sutra, what happened? Based on this rule, pratyasthat ityadina itva vidhi samarthyat eva, because that is giving the it, because of that rule of it, yan lopascha na bhavati. Yan and lopa, iko yanachi iti yan and lopa vyorvali iti lopa, both these act will not happen. Iti bhavati anyatha, otherwise lagavat lopmeva vidadhyat. Otherwise it is simple to, instead of creating new exceptions, it is simple to drop things. अतः therefore प्रत्यहारेषु युतां न ग्रहणम् इति अनुनास इत्यत्र अनुनासिक इत्यादि निर्देश न लिंगम् इत्याहुः. Therefore, for that rule which you specified, for that paribhasha which you specified, pratyahareshu yutam na grahanam, for that anunasika, this word cannot be a proof. Tanna, that is not right. Why? प्रत्यस्तात् कात् पूर्वस्य अतः लोपः आप्यो असुपः इति लोप विधौ. For this लोप विधि वर्ण आधिक्य प्रसंगात्, in that लोप विधि there will be inclusive of more varnas. What does that mean? प्रत्याहार शब्दस्य अप्रसिद्धार्थत्वात्. First we have to understand what pratyahara is. I have been repeating pratyahara. We know, we have through the background knowledge of Lava Siddhanta Kaumudi or the Siddhanta Kaumudi, if you have heard the other classes, I say pratyahara means code. Pratyahara sutra means code sutra. In Adi Lagu, I keep repeating code sutra. And pratyahara means codes. Okay? So, she says, Lopavidho Varna Adhikya Prasangat. In the Lopavidhi, there will be inclusive of more Varnas. That will be a problem. Let us see. Pratyahara Shabdasya Aprasiddharthatvat. But what is this Pratyahara you refer to? Therefore, he says, Adirantena iti etat sutrena kritaha sanyaha pratyahara shabdena vyavahriyante. What is pratyahara? Pratyahara, this word, with this word, we do the transaction of the sanya which is gained by adirantena sahita. With the sutra adirantena sahita, whatever sanya we gain, ach, hal, etc., that sanya is given the name pratyahara in Sanskrit. Okay? Iti. Prati ahriyante sanshipyante varnaha iti vyutpattehe iti bhavah. Prati ahriyante sanshipyante. What does pratyahara mean? Pratyahriyante, they include, they bring in. Ahriya means to carry and bring in. Sanshipyante means to shorten, to reduce. So they bring in, reduce. They include everything and reduce. Iti pratyahara. This is the vyutpatti. This is the explanation for the pratyahara word. Okay? Ataha. Nacha anudit sutra siddhasu a I U ityadi sanyasu atiprasangasya shankyah anudit savarnasya cha pratyayah. So you should not say there is a problem with anudit savarnasya cha pratyayah. There is a carry forward there. There is a contradiction with that. There is no contradiction here. Why? Yoga rudha ashrayana. We are accepting it as yoga rudha. See, there are words which are yogika word. There are words which are rudi word. There are words which are yoga rudha. The base words only based on the explanation, Sanskrit syntactical explanation. We base words with the object relationship. Pot, when you say, you refer to the object pot. There's no explanation. Why pot? Why pot is given the name pot? We don't have any explanation. We call it pot. That's all. That is Rudi. Yoga means there is a application, Sanskrit application. You are basing it only on the Sanskrit application. Ramu Kridayam iti. You are basing only on Sanskrit application. Now, along with the Sanskrit application, you have fixed this meaning for the word. Therefore, that is called as pratya. That is called as yoga rudha. Okay, yoga means Sanskrit explanation. Rudha means fixed ideas. Yoga rudha means with explanation you have fixed it in the Sanskrit grammar. Therefore, he says Vaiyakarana prasiddhavashat tatha rudhiriti bhavah. Vaiyakarana prasiddhavashat yogah tatha rudhiriti yoga rudhi iti bhavah. Do you get it? So, iti tatra. Here, varna samamnaya sutrena purvena nakaradina ekah pratyahara. What does pratyahara here mean? We said codes. How many codes are possible? So, we understood because in the pratyahara, pratyahriyante, we are including and reducing the characters, number of characters. Therefore, there is no point in including the in-between characters also. So, that is how we drop the in-between characters, the it characters. Okay. Now, coming to the pratyaharas, the codes. What are the codes? When I say an, a, I, u. When I say in, I, u. When I say un, I have already dismissed the possibility of creating the un. Why? Because un is 1.5 characters, whereas u is one character. I can directly use u instead of un. Okay. So, but when we teach to create pratyaharas, we just tell them, just drop the it and create pratyaharas. An, in, un, ak, ik, uk, ruk, lruk, ang, eong. ang, ing, ung, ring, lring, eng, ong, everything will be pratyahara. There will be so many pratyaharas, 108 pratyaharas you will have. Okay, 100 plus pratyaharas which are useless because as I said, is 1.5 characters you don't need. Lrik, there is 1.5 characters you don't need. Okay, so what are the pratyaharas which are accepted and what are not accepted? For that, this is the rule. So he says, Tatra Varna Samamnaya Sutrena, in the Maheshwara Sutras, through the Maheshwara Sutras, Purvena Nakarena, with the first Nakara, i.e., un, because there are two Nakaras, run, there is another Nakara there. Okay, I un ruldruk, I un there, and Hayavarat lan, there is one Nakara. There are two Nakaras, two Hakaras. Okay, with the first Nakara, we create how many pratyaharas? Ekaha pratyahara, only one pratyahara. Not in and un. Un is not possible. In, we don't need. Why? We'll understand that. Okay, then kakarena, that kakara, we have three pratyaharas. Ak, ik, uk. Nakarena, with nakara, you have one pratyaharas. Eng, ong, eng. Okay. Chakarena, chatvara, with chakara, I, ouch. That chakara, you have four pratyaharas. Ach, ich, h, ich. Okay. Then takarena ekaha haya varat. With that takara, we have only one pratyahara, which is a at kupvangnum yavai epi. There we use the sutra, right? So this pratyahara. We should not say at, it, ut, etc. You can write while creating the pratyaharas to understand how you create the codes, but they are not needed. And parena nakarena trayaha. With the second nakara lan, with that nakara we have three pratyaharas. Anudit savarnascha pratyeh atreva parena nakarena, like that he will say. So an, in, un, yan. An, in, yan are the three pratyaharas. Makarena chatvara. With makara we have four pratyaharas. Yam, nyam, ngam. Okay. Nyakarena ekaha. With nyakara, lan, nyamangananam, javai. With that we have only one pratyahara. Yai, yai, parasavarnaha, yai. Okay, yai. Shakarena do. We go to the shakara. Sha, ghada dhash, jaba gada dhash, ghada dhash. So that we have say jhash bhash. Jhalam jhashonte, jhala, no, jhashicha, bhash. That's the one sutra, bhash. Shakarena, shad. With shakara we have six pratyaharas. Ash, ashi, purvaha. Then ash, hash, hash. Then hashicha, there used hash. Then vash, bhash. Then jash, jalam jashonte, jash, vash. Oh, that is hash and vash. This is bash. Okay. Now, vakarena ekah. With vakara, shash, jash, kapai, chatatab. That vakara, we have only one pratyahara, chavi pare. Then yakarena pancha. With yakara we have kapai. With that yakara we have five pratyaharas, which are yai, mai, jhai, khai, chai. Okay. Refena sha, sar. With that refa we have only one pancha. We have five pratyaharas. Yar, jhar, khar, char, shar. Okay. The olden days they write this jhar and bhar. jha and bha. Similarly, that is the biggest problem. Okay, jhar. Lakarena shat. With lakara we have 6 pratyaharas. Al, hal, val, lobovyor vali. There we used al, hal, val, ral, jhal and shal. Akarena eko ra pratyahara. With that we have only one pratyahara which is ra. No other pratyaharas. Okay. इति वर्णसमाम्नायिकाः प्रत्याहाराः चत्वारिंशत्. In the Varna Samamnaya, in the Maheshwara Sutra, from the Maheshwara Sutras, we derive only Chatushchatvarimshat. Chatuhu 4, Chatvarimshat 40, 4 and 40, 44 pratyas, only 44 pratyas we need. I can create more pratyaharas. I know how to create pratyaharas. No, I can create more pratyaharas. In this one pratyahara, you didn't create that pratyahara. Ik. You can create more pratyaharas. Uk. For that we have an answer. Eteshameva shastre upayogat. Only these pratyaharas, these 44 pratyaharas are useful in the shastra. Ing ityadi pratyaharastu prayojanaabhavat na bhavanti. The ing, ung, etc. pratyaharas are not created because there is no use in the shastra. Shastre tad vyavahara abhavat. In the shastra there is no transaction, there is no sutra based on these pratyaharas. So whatever sutras we need, whatever pratyaharas we need in the sutras, for the sutras, only those pratyaharas we learn. But we don't even have to remember these pratyaharas. When you see a sutra, we have to understand what are the characters in that pratyahara. That is what we need to understand. Iti Asmadiyam Sangraha Karika. This is a brief Karika. Karika means a poem, a couplet based on these 44 pratyaharas. To understand, remember these 44 pratyaharas. Don't need to remember. Don't try to remember this Karika because there is no pointer. We are going to see Iko Yanachi. Ik means that is a pratyahara. We know. Okay. Ik means what are the characters which will come in the ik? I, u, rul, ru. That is what we need to know. We don't need to remember these karikas. So I am not going to explain what is that karika because we have already explained it. So he is saying Sya eko gnayam vataihi shena dvau traya iha kanabhyam चत्वारश्च चमाभ्याम पंचवाराभ्याम shalabhyam shat. With the shal is 6 shala. There are 6 pratyaharas like that. You have to understand. That's all. Tad evam anadi sanyasu siddhasu acho hrasvadi sanya vidhatte. So now we know what an means, what ach means. So these pratyaharas, these codes we understand. When the codes are already established and you know what it is, now we don't have in the sutra, we learn the characters only from the sutra. We only have e, u which are short. We don't have long and we don't have elongated. We call short, long, elongated. A, we only have in the sutra. There is no and there is no there is no long and elongated. To include the long and elongated in the sutra, he is bringing next sutra. Ukalo jhrasva dirgha plutah. Ukalo ach hrasva dirgha plutah is ukalo jhrasva. Ukalo jhrasva dirgha plutah. Dirgha plutah. Dirgha. Okay. Ukalo jhrasva dirgha plutah. Ukalo jhrasva dirgha plutah. Okay. Ukalo aj hrasva dirgha plutah. Ukalaha ach hrasva dirgha plutah. Ukalaha means the time taken for pronouncing u. U. It is not just u. U is Akasavarni Dirgha, final character of U plus U plus U. We know Akasavarni Dirgha, where any transformation of U, when they are combined, it will only be long. A, E, U, etc. Any permutation combination of that same characters, savarnas we say. Okay, so a plus a plus a plus a plus a. Any permutation and combination, you have only a dirgha. So that is why u kalaha means uscha 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 u u u. So all these three becomes, they are represented with va. U is a vaha. Prathama ekavachana vaha. Vamkala Ramanam. There you brought in a num. Without num, he says Vamkala. 660 Bahuvachana. Vamkala. Similar to the time taken for the each of this u. Kalaiva Kalo Yasya. The time period for that is a so ach. That vowel is a Kramat respectively Rasva Dirgha Pluta Sanyasyat, given the name Rasva Dirgha Pluta. The time period taken to pronounce the ach in the set of u is called as a Rasva Dirgha Pluta. Okay, Rasva Dirgha Pluta. Then we saw under the Rasva Dirgha Pluta, under each we have three classification of Udata Anudata Swarita, and under each we have Anunasika Anunasika. We will come to that first later. Now we will see what Ukalo Rasva Dirgha Pluta is. He says that evam anadi sanya siddhasu acho raspadi sanya vidhate Ukalo Rasva Dirgha Pluta. Kalaha means time. What is time? Time is not any time. It is not. It becomes that becomes Pluta actually. Okay. So whether you say does not really matter. That is what is the time period. The time period, Kala, is referred to as Matra in Sanskrit and in other language. In Indian language, generally they call it Matra. Matra means the measurement. Measurement is measured, this measurement of pronouncing is measured in different ways. They say, when you produce a sound like this, and you flick and we make a sound, the time taken for that is Matra. Or when you blink your eyes, the time taken for blinking is a Matra. This is in other language. In Sanskrit, he says, your leg kneecap, when you rotate your hand in your leg kneecap, the time taken for that is a 1 Matra. The time taken for rotating your palm on your kneecap is 1 Matra. That is how they explain in Sanskrit. Okay. So this is what is said here. This sutra itself is a complicated sutra, simple sutra, complicated sutra. Why? This sutra itself does not follow any grammar rule. Because Rasva Dirgha Plutaha, there are 3 words. Rasva Dirgha Plutaha. This is in Samahara Rasva Dirgha Plutahascha. Samahara Dunda. When I'm going to bring Itra Dundwa, when I'm going to bring Itra Dundwa, Samahara Dundwa is always in singular. When I bring Itra Dundwa, then it should always be in plural. Rasva Dirgha Plutaha, it should be, but he says Rasva Dirgha Plutaha. That is one grammar problem. The other problem is it should be in neuter gender, Rasva Dirgha Plutam. Instead of Rasva Dirgha Plutam, he is saying Rasva Dirgha Plutaha. We'll see all this tomorrow because there is no hurry. Okay. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति।